So we're looking at Juz 4 today. So since the month of Ramadan, here's a reminder for you. Make sure to read your optional prayers, your nawafil, your tahajjud, your night prayers, like I've said. So Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So today we're going to be talking about Juz 4. So we've done 3 videos on Juz 1, 2 and 3. So make sure that each day, inshallah, you've been reading that Juz. Today you should be reading Juz 4. So by the end of the month of Ramadan, you've read it. And through this series, you'll understand the message of these juz. So let's get into it. The central theme that is within the juz is unity. So these verses were revealed shortly after the Battle of Uhud, during which the Muslims encountered their first military defeat due to a murmur of disunity. Many of the verses address what happened after that battle, reminding the believers that victory comes from Allah, and disunity gets in the way of the divine assistance. So internal problems continue to plague us even today, and our external enemies take advantage of this issue and they utilize it to harm our ummah. So disunity is written in the destiny of this great ummah. The Prophet ﷺ said, I asked my Lord 3 things and he granted me 2 but withheld 1. I begged my Lord that my ummah should not be destroyed because of famine, and he granted me this. And I begged my Lord that the ummah should not be destroyed by drowning, and he granted me this. And I begged my Lord that there should be no bloodshed among the people of my ummah, but he did not grant it. So it's interesting to note that the previous 3 verses focused on the mistakes of the past nations in the form of the rebelliousness of the professed followers of Moses and the misguided theology of those who claim to follow Jesus. Yet this juz focuses primarily on the mistakes of the Muslims, our big weaknesses, our disunity. So disunity has always been a problem in the Muslim world. Internal problems continue to plague us even today, and our external enemies take advantage of this and use it to harm the ummah. So the following verses that I'm going to read are going to address different aspects of unity. O you who believe, revere Allah with due reverence and do not die except as Muslims, and hold fast to the rope of Allah altogether and do not become divided, and remember Allah's blessings upon you, how you were enemies and he reconciled your hearts, and by his grace you became brethren, and you were on the brink of a pit of fire and he saved you from it. Allah thus clarifies his revelations for you so that you may be guided, and let there be among you a community calling to virtue and advocating righteousness and deterring from evil. These are the successful, and do not be like those who separated and disputed after the clear proofs came to them, for them is a great punishment. So these verses implore us to unite, work together to call towards good and avoid evil. This is emphasized further in the following verse, in which Allah describes the best of this nation. You are the best community that ever emerged for humanity. You advocate what is moral and forbid what is immoral, and believe in Allah. Had the people of the scripture believed, it would have been better for them. Among them are the believers, but most of them are sinners. In this verse we are informed that we are indeed the best of nations if we fulfill the obligations that Allah has put upon us. Fulfilling these obligations requires unity and sincerity. The verses of unity are followed by a series of verses describing the Battle of Uhud and what went wrong in this battle. The prime focus is learning the lessons from this battle. So the lessons included are: any victory of Muslims is not because of the numbers, it's dependent on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala assisting them. We should never rely on numbers alone in battles. Allah grants victory when we are united. Allah's mercy descends when we are united. When we are disunited, we are our own worst enemies. We are commanded to strive for Allah, even if the Prophet passed away. The struggle for Islam continues. So the things that I've mentioned are from this, from the Quran, just 3 verse 110 and verse 121 to 29, 144 and 155. We are informed that we are indeed the best of nations if we fulfill the obligation Allah has put upon us. However, fulfilling these obligations requires unity and sincerity. So the juz ends with a reminder that those who made mistakes at Uhud were already forgiven by Allah. Allah did not reveal these verses to humiliate them. He revealed these verses so that we can reflect on these events and learn lessons from them. Those of you who turned back on the day when the two armies clashed, it was Satan who caused them to backslide on account of some of what they had earned, but Allah is forgiven them. Allah is forgiving and prudent. So this is where it concludes today. So inshallah I'll catch you in the Juz 5 one. So assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.